Hi, in this CLO video, I'm going to show you all how we can add buttons and buttonholes that are functional to our garment. So you'll see here I have this dress with a front placket that I have created. We're going to add buttons to the placket here so that the front of the dress buttons and unbuttons. So the first thing that we need to do is have the space created for our buttons to be added. So right here, I do have this placket that will overlap with this placket since we know that our button and buttonholes need to be placed on top of each other for where they will end up going. And so the first thing is to just have that space created. So whatever you're going to be applying your buttons to, you can just create that. Sometimes when we are adding our buttons and buttonholes to our garment, if your pattern doesn't already have the markings on it for those placements, it can be helpful to add an internal line to help you. And so that can just help you make sure you're clicking exactly where you want it to go. If your pattern already has the markings on it, like you imported it as a DXF or something else like that, or you've just already added those as markings, internal lines or baselines, then you won't need to do this, but it can be helpful if you don't have that yet. So I'm just going to click on the internal line tool, and I'm going to add an internal line down the center of my placket. And my mouse automatically locks to my center point right here. So I'm just going to click there once. And I go over a lot more on how to add internal lines in a different video, so I'm just going to do this really quickly, but I'm just going to double click at the end. So now I have that internal line going down the center of that side of my placket, and then I'm do the same thing on the other, making sure I'm at the very center of it. So when my lock guide turns on, and then moving down all the way to the bottom, you can hold down Shift to make sure my lock guide is on and double click to finish that line. So that's just going to help me make sure that I'm clicking exactly where I want my button to be added. So the next thing that I want to do, if you're using this internal line method, is go into our add point / split line tool. And here I'm just going to add a point where I want the top button to be placed. So for example, maybe I want the top button to be placed 1 inch down from the top here. I'm just going to add a point at that 1 inch mark. And so I could use my mouse to try to click exactly at 1 inch, or I can right click to split by length and type in 1 inch. And that's going to put a point right exactly at 1 inch. And then I'll choose OK. So that's just going to be my guide for where I want that first button to be placed, just to help make sure I place it directly in the center of my placket and also exactly the placement down that I want it. So the first thing I'm going to do, you can either add your buttons or your buttonholes first, it doesn't matter. But we need to go into our button or buttonhole tool in our 3D toolbar. It looks like a button that will automatically be your button tool on top. So I'll just add that one first. But right here in our 3D toolbar, that is how we can add buttons. Above it, we have our select / move button tool, which we'll be using later if we need to edit our buttons. And then below it, we have our fasten button, which we'll be able to fasten our buttons once we have both the buttons and the buttonholes. But I'm going to go into the button tool. And to place our first button, all we have to do is click anywhere on our pattern. So I could place a button right here, right in the middle of it, and that would be added. So once that loads, you'll see it actually applied in my 3D window too. But I'm going to click Command Z to remove that because we know that I want my button to be placed right on top of that point that I added. So that's why I did this internal line tool, because if we were starting on this side, you can see that internal line helps me a lot to be able to make sure I'm placing it right in the middle. And then that point helps me make sure I'm placing it right at 1 inch down. So that's why I find that internal line and add point tip helpful. So then I can just click right on that point. And then once the button loads, then I will have it placed right there. If you're having problems with it placing on top of your internal line, sometimes you might just need to switch out and unselect the internal line and go back into the button tool and then click again, and then that should work. Every now and then it thinks that I'm selecting the internal line and not trying to place the button anymore. But you'll see that my button is pretty wide. It's taking up almost the whole placket, which is pretty big. So I'm going to go into my my property editor and click on my button in the button tab. And then I'm going to go down and I'm just going to edit the width of my button. So I'm going to type in 1/2 inch because I know my placket that I specifically created is 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to type in 1/2 inch for that and leave it there. Then I'm going to close that. I wanted to go ahead and do that so that when I'm placing the rest of my buttons, they are the correct width. So in my edit/select button tool, instead of going and adding more buttons by clicking manually like I just did with the first one, I'm going to go into our edit/select button tool, click on my button that I added and click copy, Command C. And then I'm going to click Command V on my keyboard. And that's going to attach the button to my mouse. Now you can see I have a measurement on my mouse showing me the distance from my current button. So say I wanted these to be 3 inches apart, the rest of the way down my garment, then I could click right when I get to 3 inches, or if I can't quite get to that exact measurement, I can right click and that will give me this pop-up right here. So I can type in 3 inches and then I can add in the number of intervals for however many buttons that I want all the way down to the bottom of my garment. So maybe I don't want it to go quite that close to the hem, so I can choose 9, and you can visually see here in the 3D window and on my 2D pattern how close I am to the bottom of the garment and see where they're being placed. And once I'm happy with those, I can choose OK. So that's something that we can do if you want all your buttons to be consistently spaced. But if you did want them to be different, you could always just click on that button tool and manually add them like we did with that first one. Now that we've added all of our buttons, I'm going to switch over and make our buttonhole tool also. But I do need to add that point at the top of our other side of our placket so that I make sure to place my buttonhole the exact same distance down as our button. And so I just happened to get it right on 1 inch there, so I didn't do the right click option, but you can always do that right click and type in exactly 1 inch. With the add point/split line tool, if you use the right click option, you'll just want to make sure you're closest to the edge that you want to measure from, because if I right click closer to the hem edge, then it's going to measure the 1 inch from the bottom. So now I'm going to do the same thing, go into our buttonhole tool and just click on that point. Might make me, there we go. I wasn't sure if it was going to make me unselect the internal line. And so I just need to do the same thing. Open up my object browser and property editor, click on my buttonhole, and then I need to shorten it. So it's hanging over the edge. So you could make it a little bit bigger than your button if you wanted it to show a little past the edges, or you could make it the exact same size as your button and close, that's okay. So I'm just going to make it like 0.55 and then close both of those. Go into my edit/select tool, click on it, Command C to copy, Command V to paste, and then right click. I'll do 3 inches. And then add up my intervals to get it down to the bottom to have 9 more. So I have 10 total, including our first one that we pasted manually. And then now that I have all of these buttons, I need to fasten them. If I did for some reason make a mistake, I can always go in and edit them with the select/move tool. I can click and I can drag it around for the button or the buttonhole. But I'm going to click Command Z to undo those. For the fasten tool, we'll just click on that. It looks like a button inside of a buttonhole with a lock next to it. And all we have to do is click on the button and then the buttonhole we want to fasten it to. So I'm just going to go down all my buttons and do that. And once I get them done, I'll get out of that tool. And one thing that I will need to do is to arrange my pattern in the 3D window, because we know that we want the fabric piece that has the buttons to be slightly behind the fabric piece that has the buttonholes, because they're going to be fastened through them and come forward. So I'm just going to use my gizmo tool to slightly move that piece with the buttons backwards a little bit. And now I can turn on simulation mode. And you'll see that that is sewn together. So if I go to the side, you'll see, sorry, not sewn together, but fastened with buttons together. If I go to the side, you can see I can lift up that fabric and it's not sewn together. The buttons are actually fastened. I'm going to go into my object browser and property editor and just change the color of them so we can see them a little bit better. And I'll change the color of the buttonhole too so we can see it differently. And you'll see while I'm in my buttonhole selection tool that I do have a lock there next to those buttons. That's showing me that they are fastened. So now you can see those a little bit better. If you did ever want to unfasten a button, you can always click on the fasten tool and click again on that lock. Or on the button, and then if I turn on simulation mode, now that's unfastened. You can always refasten it the same way that we did before, but that's how we can create realistic buttons. In our property editor and object browser, we can also go in and edit these. So if I go back to the button tab, we can change the color like I just showed you, but we can also change the shape of our button. So if I go to shape and click on that drop down, there's a lot of different options for different buttons that we can use. We can also adjust the thickness, the weight of it, and then also the button thread. So if I click on thread, it's automatically going to make the thread the same material and color as the button. But if I want it to be different, I can uncheck that, and then I can go adjust the color if I want that actual thread of the button to be different. And there's some other settings for that too. If you did want to change it back to the same material as the button, you could click that. And then if I go back to my button tab, just some more settings down here that you can adjust. And then same thing with our buttonhole. You can adjust the color like I showed you, but we can also adjust the shape too by choosing those. And so that's the basics on adding and customizing buttons in CLO. You can also go in and change the size of them like I showed you at the very beginning too. You can go and always change that later also, and same thing for the buttonholes. But I hope that this was helpful. Thanks.